My wife hissed, her manicured fingers digging into my arm as she shoved me back a half step. The string lights above us flickered, catching the startled faces turning our way. Laughter softened into whispers. Glasses paused midair. Someone muttered, "Awkward." I said nothing, just nodded once, slow and measured, and walked toward the parking lot. The air smelled like pine smoke and fake camaraderie. I had almost reached my car when footsteps hurried after me. I turned. Her boss's boss, Thompson, stood there, pale as if he'd seen a ghost. "Sir, I just recognized you from the board meeting last month." He swallowed. "Does she know who you?" I raised a hand, cutting him off. "No," I said, and the way his jaw slackened told me he suddenly understood more than he wanted to. That was the moment everything slid into place. The humiliation, the tone, the push, the whispers, and the beginning of the end. When I first met her, she had this way of looking at me like she already knew my worst flaws and loved me anyway. Light in her voice, warmth in her touch. A kind of earnestness I didn't know still existed. We fell fast. We fell stupid. She'd sit on the kitchen counter, swinging her legs, calling me my quiet thunder. We traveled. We laughed. We built a life with slow mornings and shared plans. It felt real. She used to squeeze my hand in crowded rooms, grounding me. Then one day she stopped. The warmth faded so gradually that at first I blamed work, stress, the usual suspects. But love doesn't dim without someone cupping a hand over the flame. I just didn't know who yet. The first hint was small, barely a whisper of wrongness. She began locking her phone. She never used to. Now she guarded it like a second heartbeat. Then came the late nights at the office, the sudden team dinners, the way she straightened her posture when certain names flashed on her screen. I'd enter a room and she'd tilt her phone away. Close tabs on her laptop. Switch conversations mid-sentence. Not guilt. No, guilt is clumsy. This was calculation. I said nothing. Silence is underestimated. It's a scalpel disguised as air. I watched, listened, collected details like a patient thief. A slip of perfume not hers. A billing statement that didn't match her claimed schedule. A hotel receipt tucked between grocery coupons. Each clue a drop of ink slowly darkening the water. The truth came on a Tuesday evening when the world felt too ordinary to hold something so sharp. She left her laptop open while rushing to answer his call. I shouldn't have looked, but betrayal is like gravity. Once something begins to fall, it must hit the ground. Emails, dozens, weeks worth. Her words sugary, desperate for his attention. His replies cocky, entitled, discussing me like I was a nuisance, an obstacle, a non-entity. "He's harmless," she wrote. "He won't fight back." My hands went numb. Chest burning. A ringing in my ears like a scream turned inside out. But then something colder settled in. A strange humming clarity. They thought I was harmless. They thought I was passive. They thought wrong. Pain dissolved into precision. Emotion hardened into intent. I closed the laptop, took a breath, and began planning. Months. I gave myself months. Revenge isn't loud. Revenge is patient. First, I met with my lawyer quietly. Then with my financial advisors, more quietly. I shifted assets she didn't even know existed, rerouted accounts, closed loopholes she once bragged about exploiting. I gathered evidence not for chaos but for court. Hard proof, irrefutable, enough to turn her fantasies of an easy divorce into ash. At work I stepped into the power she never realized I held, the board seat she didn't know about, the influence she underestimated. Her lover's boss's boss, and then some. Thompson helped unintentionally. His shock that night told me exactly how far her ignorance reached. I waited, watched her weave her illusion tighter, let her believe she held the upper hand. She rehearsed lies in the mirror, practiced indifference, polished contempt. Every move she made tightened the news she didn't know she was wearing. It unfolded on a Friday, a company-wide strategic reorganization meeting, a day she bragged she'd shine. She walked into the conference room with that smug, brittle confidence I'd grown to recognize, dressed to impress him, not me. She didn't expect to see me at the head of the table. A hush fell. Thompson avoided her eyes. Her lover, Daniel, stiffened. I spoke calmly, outlining the restructuring. Departments merged. Leadership roles reassigned. Then I said her name. Her smile cracked. Fear flickered. Due to recent findings, I continued, sliding the documented evidence forward, your conduct violates company policy. Effective immediately, your position is terminated. Security will escort you from the premises. Daniel stood to defend her. I turned to him. You're next. He paled. I revealed the financial fraud he tried to mask, evidence collected in parallel while he was too busy stealing moments with her to secure his own defenses. 3 board members nodded. 2 took notes. The decision was swift. His world collapsed. Hers followed. She whispered my name, half plea, half disbelief. I didn't look at her. Not once. Calm, controlled, done. The house feels larger now, quieter, but not empty. The papers she signed under legal pressure she never saw coming sit in a neat folder on my desk. The assets are mine. The freedom is mine. The silence is mine. Sometimes I walk past her abandoned vanity, the ghost of her perfume fading into dust. I feel nothing. Tonight I sit on the porch, the same place where she once called me, Quiet Thunder. The irony tastes clean. In my hand is her final text. Can we talk? I delete it. The storm already passed, and I am the one who walked away.